Cameroonian citizens had visa-free or visa-free arrival access to 46 countries and territories, ranking the Cameroonian passport 96 in terms of travel freedom, tied with the passports of Burundi, Congo, and also Liberia. Now, Cameroon does have diplomatic relations with the USA, but not an extradition treaty. So if you got some sort of problem, this is maybe a good passport that you might want to look at. It adds that extra layer of protection. Your best protection is a country that has no diplomatic relations and no extradition treaty, but I think an extradition treaty would hold up just as well. Also, folks, if you want to legally get your income taxes to zero, how to get a second passport as quick as 45 days, do three things. Hit the subscribe button on the right of your screen right here and the notification bell next to it. You get new videos automatically as they come out. And number two is I would like to hear from you. If you got a question or comment, put it below. And number three is go to our website, www.citizenshipquickly.com, and ask for some help. And if you've got some sort of legal problem, you should be trying to work that out before you actually just don't try to solve your problem and just leave whatever country you're in. It's a lot easier and a lot less headaches if you just try to solve whatever issue you've got. But that being said, if you've got an issue that you can't work out for some reason, this would be a pretty good option if you're looking for a country that doesn't have an extradition treaty, not just with the U.S., but a lot of countries it doesn't have an extradition treaty with. Let's go over the naturalization ways. These are ways that you can actually get naturalized in Cameroon. Now, naturalization can be granted to persons of the age of majority in legal capacity who've resided in the territory for sufficient period of time to confirm they understand the customs and traditions of the society. Now, general provisions are that participants be of good character, have no criminal history, and a good physical and mental health. Now, nationality may also be granted for service to the nation or under exceptional circumstances. Now, the exceptional circumstances, let me explain to you how that works. You can go in, you can offer money to this country. Quite a few countries have this. Now, when I say you make an offer, you don't go in and try to give the money to a dictator in some African country and you bring in a hoard of cash to do it. This is not the way to do it, okay? You do everything legally. You hire a lawyer. Make sure you do a wire transfer or some sort of means that's legal. And if cash is legal, that's fine. But if it's not legal, then don't do it. I mean, this is just foolish. So, you've got to use your common sense here. And then what you do is you make an offer based on what the country would take. Maybe for an orphanage. It might be for something, for $50,000. It just depends on who's in office and what they want to work out. But the money should be paid to the actual government office that's handling that, whether it's an orphanage or whatever. Don't be giving money to some president and then relying on him to do otherwise, and you hire a good lawyer. We can help you on that if you need to get to that point in getting this done. But anyway, you want to make sure that everything is done up and up. The general residency period requirement is 5 years, but there is no residency period requirement for individuals, like I said, who have performed exemplary services to the nation. You can get that done pretty quick. In fact, part of the agreement you can have is that the passport be issued in a certain period of time, not just that you're given money, but the passport will be granted in X amount of weeks or months or whatever. And that way you know this thing's not going to linger on and on and on, because when you deal with it, a lot of these African countries, and not just in Africa, the Caribbean, Central America, things take a long time, and you need to have that written in the contract. Besides foreigners meeting the criteria for naturalization, there are other persons who may be naturalized, which include persons born in Cameroon who have resided in Cameroon for at least 5 years prior to the date, or a date within 6 months of reaching the age of majority. Now, adoptees who are residing in Cameroon at the time of adoption and upon declaration of nationality 6 months prior to reaching majority. Another way is minor children who are married or of legal age declare the right to Cameroonian nationality if their Cameroonian parent reclaimed nationality. The wife of a Cameroonian husband may acquire his nationality by declaration upon legal marriage, or you can have the husband of a Cameroonian wife may naturalize without a residency period. Now, this is one of the African countries. There are a few other African countries too, where you can have an instant passport. Okay, you just marry a national. You don't have to. There's no waiting time. You just basically go in, do the paperwork, and you get the passport very fast. Okay, because you're married to a national. Now, I wouldn't advise you marrying a national of any country just to get the passport, but this is an option. If you go there, you fall in love with someone, you legally, you rightfully are marrying the person. This is a great way to get a quick passport if you want to go that route. Now, the GDP per capita of Cameroon, if you're thinking about running a business there, is $1,500 US a year. Now, that can be a real positive if you're running a business because the labor in Cameroon is very, very cheap. In fact, when I went to Dubai, I was living in Dubai, we had, be honest with you, there were about 4 countries where most of the people were being outsourced, where they were bringing in a lot of people to Dubai to pay them low wages. And they were good workers, but they were willing to work at a real low cost. And these were people from Cameroon, Kenya, which is in Africa. They had Bangladeshi people coming in, Pakistani, and Indians. And they also had people from the Philippines. These were some of the cheapest labor of any place in the world. And this is why, and these are all English-speaking countries, so they would go out and outsource people, from these countries because they knew they could pay them a low wage, and they spoke English, and they could keep their labor costs down low. Now, resident corporations in Cameroon are taxed on their worldwide income. Non-resident corporations are taxed only on Cameroon source income. Now, Cameroon does have a non-dom tax system similar to Ireland. They do have high taxes, like, around the top bracket is around 38% in Cameroon. But the key is if you go on a non-dom status, you could get that potentially right around zero because they do have a similar program to Ireland's non-dom program. Remember, non-dom programs is where you're going in and it's virtually tax-free depending on the amount of money you remit back in the country, and you're taxed on remittance basis. And I got other videos on how you can still get those taxes to zero too. But anyway, it's been a while since the push began to introduce premium health care services in Cameroon. More than about 50 private hospitals are supplying modern equipment and facilities. The staff in these hospitals are highly knowledgeable and can interact with expats professionally. These hospitals accept international health insurance. Now, in Cameroon, employees, citizens, and expats must register for a private health insurance plan. Employers generally do not provide help or contribute to such policies. Now, Cameroon does not allow dual citizenship. This is a big negative. I can show you a couple of ways you can get around this, but that is one disadvantage. And of course, the visa-free travel is pretty bad too. In fact, I'm going to give you my evaluation on this program, and it is as follows. I don't like the not having dual citizenship. The visa-free travel is very, very low there. You can get many times over the visa-free travel in St. Kitts. Now, why would someone want to get Cameroon versus St. Kitts? Well, if you just happen to be wanting to marry somebody from there, that's a quick, fast passport. It's like free, practically free. You're going to pay almost nothing for it, and it's instant. Okay, you don't have to wait at all. Okay, you can get one pretty close to being instant if you go in there and you do, like I mentioned to you before, you have an agreement to do some sort of exemplary service there in Cameroon. That's another way. But remember, and I've done this in other videos, that a good fast-track citizenship program has these traits I'm going to tell you about, and I would encourage you to try to stick by these, and that is, number one, get a citizenship program that you know you can get. As long as you don't have any sort of civil or criminal past, the law of residency by investment countries don't go by their statutory requirements after the minimum residency requirements have been made, therefore messing up your plans for a passport in a reasonable amount of time. Now, this is something you really have to think about because in St. Kitts you can get a passport as quick as 45 days. And now I gave you quick ways to get a passport really fast in Cameroon. If you go in there and you don't marry someone, you're not going to invest any money. You're just going to go in and reside there. Man, it's going to take you a long time. Forget the law on the statutory period on what they tell you can get the passport in. You're not going to get it in that time period, I can tell you. And number two is you should make sure the country that you're applying for has no military requirements to get the passport. Number three is make sure the tax system that's in place for that country is either territorial or pure tax haven status, or does not tax worldwide income or investment income. Now, a non-dom, you can make that work too. Also, non-dom status, tax status country. Now, remember, a St. Kitts passport, I always like to compare St. Kitts because it's the golden passport program. It's, I mean, you can look at the other videos I've got. It's the best passport overall in the world. It was rated the best passport in the world because you can get, it's got a lot of visa-free travel, the most of any of the fast-track programs in 162 countries. Visa-free or visa-free on arrival. Other things that are really nice about it allows dual citizenship. There's no military requirements. You can get it as quick as 45 days. I mean, I can go on and on and on. English speaking, it's just, it's got everything you want. These are some things you need to look at. But like I said, if you want a passport even quicker than 45 days, like instant, and you don't have the money for the St. Kitts passport, this is an option, okay? Number four is make sure if there is a language requirement that you're already fluent in that language before applying, or don't apply. One nice thing about St. Kitts is no language test requirement, and it's a totally English-speaking country. Now remember, Cameroon is an English-speaking country. So any sort of requirement they've got, to be efficient in English, if you're listening to this video, you can pass that very easily, okay? It's not like learning a different language. Number five is always verify that dual citizenship is allowed, or don't engage in that program. All right, now St. Kitts allows dual citizenship. Cameroon does not. These are some things you need to look at. Now, one thing you could do, I don't ever advocate somebody do something illegal, but I would get with a lawyer on this, and we can help you with that, is in the country that you're dealing with, is what you could do is you could get a Cameroon passport, relinquish the other passport, because you're going to have to do that to get the Cameroon passport. Then if you want to get another passport down the road after you get the Cameroon that allows dual citizenship, that's different, okay? Now, I would still advise you to get some legal advice in the country that you're getting this in. We have Chinese and Indians. I know as far as, I know they don't relinquish their other passports. They're required to. The reason they don't, the reason the lawyers probably don't tell them to worry about it, those countries have that law in the books, but I've never seen China or India ever go back and enforce laws for someone getting a second passport and not relinquish their other passport. China, for instance, has these second passport conventions, and they know what they're doing. They come in there, their St. Kitts does it. They go in there and they have meetings with immigration advisors in China, advertising their second passports in China. Well, China, the authorities there know these people are not dropping their second passports, and I don't know anybody's even been fined on it before. But like I said, if you do this, I strongly advise you, if you're a Chinese or you're an Indian, seek counsel in the country you're in. This is a smart way to do it before you do something on that, and then go from there. Anyway, you want to get a second passport that has as many visa-free countries that you can get, but having the requirements I just mentioned. That's one thing I like about St. Kitts. You got 162 visa-free or visa-free on arrival countries and territories. You want to get as many as you can get, so you're not getting having to get visas everywhere you go. And number 7 is remember that a lot of countries reserve their most lucrative business opportunities like insurance, real estate, retail, and other business opportunities for citizens. Remember, when you go and you get residency in a country, if you don't have citizenship there, they're going to bar you out of a lot of business opportunities. I've been telling people this for years. And this is the problem is you want to, if you're going to be working in a place, you need to be able to get the passport pretty quick. And if you don't do it, you need to check out real good to make sure that the business opportunity that you're doing is going to, that they don't require you to be a citizen of that country to be able to do that. And if it takes you years to get the citizenship, you're going to be barred out of a lot of restricted business opportunities while you're waiting. So you need to be real clear when you set up a business in a country to make sure that you can do that business and not have to be required to have citizenship. And number 8 is always when you move to a new country where you don't know the language, it's going to take you 3 times longer to get everything done. Are you willing to do that? That's the key right there, because it's going to take up a lot of your time. And I tell people you really should stick with in getting residency by investment, citizenship by investment, countries that you can speak the language. Trust me, I lived in Panama for 4 years, man. And found out I didn't do my homework. Okay, I found out that they required you to get relinquish your other passports, and you had to also learn the Spanish language and take a Spanish test. These are mistakes that you don't want you want to learn ahead of time before you go in that country. Anyway, if you're making at least $150,000 US a year, and or you got a net worth of at least 1 million US, and you want to learn how to legally get your income taxes to zero, or get a second passport as quick as 45 days, do 3 things. Hit the subscribe button on the right of your screen right here, and the notification bell next to it, and you'll get new videos automatically as they come out. And number 2 is I would like to hear from you. If you got a question or comment, put it below. Number 3 is go to our website, www.citizenshipquickly.com, and just ask for help. We deal with over 100 citizenship by investment, residency by investment countries all over the world, and I look forward to talking to you on the next video. Take care.